All right, future DJs and pop stars. Let's look at program 3, tricycles. So in this one, we're asking the user to enter a number that is greater than 10 and less than 20, not inclusive. So we are not including 10 or 20. Use the diagnostic loop to ensure that data is entered in the correct range. Once you have a valid input, print the odd integers starting at 3. So all of our odd numbers starting at 3 and continuing until the number entered, which is inclusive, all on the same line, then print the product of these numbers. So we've got over here an example. So if we were to, let me move this up a little bit for you. If we were to enter 11, we'd get 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and then all of those multiplied together, our product is 10,395. All right, so I know that was a lot. First things first, ask the user for an input that is greater than 10 and less than 20. So let's do that. So we are going to say, let's call this just number. So the number that we're entering is going to be equal to, it's an integer. We want input, and then we can put in our strings, enter a number greater than 10 and less than 20. Cool. So that is our input right there. And now we want to use a diagnostic loop to make sure that that is working out. So let's use a while diagnostic loop. So while, and this is going to be kind of flipped as what we did. So while number is actually less than or equal to 10, because remember we are including, or we're not including 10, or number is greater than or equal to 20. So basically anything outside of our range. While a number is less than 10 and a number is greater than 20, we are going to have this diagnostic loop. So if they input a number like this, we want to print something saying that it is not valid. So we are going to print the statement, please enter a number within range. And then we can put a little disclaimer there. And then, because I love copy and pasting, I am just going to copy and paste this little section again, because we're just going to ask them again if they haven't done that. So that's while these are happening, we're gonna have this in between. All right, let me go home. All right, so we have this little diagnostic check right now, but let's say that they got a number that works out. So we're gonna say for, and we don't wanna use number, but we are going to choose a value because what we're doing right here, you should have, once you have entered an input, we're going to print odd integers starting at 3. So these are going to be our odd integers. So I'm going to throw for I in a range that we just got, because our range, it starts at 3 and it goes until that number that we entered. So we're going to say from 3 to our number that is entered. And then we want our odd integers. So we're going to do every other number and step it up like that. Because if we're at 3, then the next one would be 4 if we have a step right here. So we want it to be 3, then 5, then 7, then 8, or 5, then 7, then 9, and so on and so forth. So that's why we're using 2 as our step right here. So if we have that value, we are now going to print I, because we're doing this part right here, the 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. We are going to print each of those. So we're going to print I. Now, when we do a normal print clause in a for loop, it automatically knocks it down to another line. Just like if we look all the way back up here and we did, oh, do I not have an example? Ooh, I might have been thinking ahead. So inside of for loops, but if you looked at our preview video, they print every single line. So we want to actually change the end of this. And this is a function that we can do within a print statement, which we can change our end instead of its default, which is an end equals to do a \n or next line. We actually want this one, our end, to just equal a blank spot. So just a space. So that's going to give our a space in between each of these. So we're going to print our numbers, and then we want to find the product of this. So we're going to say our product of i's, so all of our i's multiplied together, is going to be multiplied by, or the multiplies equal to I. So every time we have I go in here, say that we enter in a number that is, we'll just use the example of 11. So then we're going to have 3 our first time around. So 3 times, then 5. So 3 times 5, then 7. So 3 times 5 times 7, 3 times 5 times 7 times 9. Those are all going to be our integers that we are multiplying into this. Now we don't have product inside of here, so we want to define our product as well. So anything times 1 is going to be itself, so we're just going to use 1 to start here. So our product equals 1. We don't want our product to equal 0 like we did with total or count, because anything times 0 is 0. So we want to start with 1. So that will give us our first answer back in our feedback. All right. So now we want to print the product is 10,300 or whatever it may be. So we will start a print statement, and I am going to throw in here, I am going to print, or no, sorry, the product is, and then we are just going to do a little colon this, and I'm gonna do a little shortcut here and just do a comma product, because we already have that variable defined, and we'll have that right there. So our product is what our product is. That's why we name our variables so specifically. I love it. I love it. All right, so let's run this. It's gonna save it. Woo. Enter a number that is less than 10 or greater than 10 and less than 20. So let's try if our diagnostic loop works. So we'll put 21, enter a number within range. So that's above it. We'll go below, we'll enter 6. Not in range, let's do 13. There we go. So our product is, ooh, and look, we actually, because we have an end over here, it didn't give us a new line. So let's do a /n. So we have a new line here. And we'll enter that 13 again. Cool. And this is the same answer as when you do 11, just because of how we have it included in every other. So cool. Thanks for watching.